Anderson Duarte says, Luke, could you pop up call into question? Pop up just means show his question on the screen so that you can see it. I have done that. I popped it up. Now the next thing I have to do is answer the question, which is not a question, it's a request. So, what does call into question mean? Okay. Well, let's say that you've decided something, or you're thinking in a certain way, right? And then after a while of thinking in this way, or deciding this and moving forward with your decision, things come in which give you some doubt as to whether that was the right decision or whether you're doing the right thing. So think about it as being on a path, right? You're walking down a road. You're riding your bike down a road, right? And you're on a road that's a bit bumpy. And you think, oh, this will be fine. I've never been on this road before. It might be interesting. But it gets bumpier and bumpier. More and more bumpy, right? And then it turns into stones. And you think, it's okay. It'll get better. This is an interesting road. I've never been on this road before. And then it turns into dirt, right? And you keep going, oh, this is fascinating, but I hope it turns into pavement again soon. And then it turns into grass, and before you know it, you're in the forest and you're lost and you don't have anything to eat. You have to eat mushrooms, and then you get mushroom poisoning, if that's a thing. And then you wake up 3 days later and you don't know where you are, and your whole life changes. Well, the moment when you reach the part where the road stops and it becomes just stones, you could say that moment might begin to call into question your decision to go down that road. It's beginning to call that decision into question. Okay? So calling something into question is sort of saying, I'm beginning to realize that perhaps there are some reasons to say that maybe the thing that I'm doing or the thing that I decided before that I'm on the path of is not the right thing. I don't know it for sure, though. That's an important thing to note, because it could be great. But there's now reason to doubt it. There's reason to think, perhaps, that it may be the wrong thing. Okay? So, let's talk about a couple of examples. Let's say someone moves spontaneously to, let's say, Brazil. Okay, I moved to Brazil spontaneously. And I am learning Spanish seriously, learning Spanish very seriously. Then I get to Brazil, because I'm so dumb, I don't realize that people in Brazil speak Portuguese. Okay? So I get to Brazil, then I can't communicate. I've been working for 6 months to improve my Spanish, and I failed to realize that that's not even the language that people speak in Brazil. Now, this may be calling into question several things. It may call into question my decision to move to Brazil. It may call into question my intelligence or my ability to make good decisions. Right? It may call many things into question, to throw doubt on those things. Hey, maybe you're an idiot. Maybe you are not as smart as you thought you were. Maybe this is the wrong decision, whatever it may be, right? Or perhaps someone is educating their child and they let their child play a video game that they think will be okay, right? But it turns out their child who's 5 years old is playing this game and it turns into a very violent game, right? The violence I'm seeing in this game is beginning to call into question my decision to allow little Billy Bob, my dear son Billy Bob, to play this game. It's beginning to call into question that decision. All right. Now, a couple of examples from the free dictionary. These are now not my examples, but I think they're good, and I'm going to bring them in just because I think they're good. I considered Walt for the promotion, but his constant lateness soon called that decision into question. Right? So Walt deserves a promotion, or I think he does. This is what I'm thinking now. But then, Walt has been doing some bad stuff. He's been late quite often. It's beginning to give me doubts about whether or not that thing that I originally was thinking was the right thing. Now, I haven't necessarily finally decided that Walt will get a promotion, but I'm thinking that way. I'm going down that road. I'm going down that path, right? So it's beginning to call that into question. Now, that could change. Doesn't mean the final result will be that he doesn't get the promotion, but it's beginning to give me doubts, and that's the key point here. The other example, such a significant error really calls all of the experiment results into question. Okay, so team of scientists working on an experiment, okay, and they get a result, and it doesn't agree with any of the other results they've had up to this point, and that's a very serious thing, beginning to give us doubts about whether or not our original results are valid, are good. It's beginning to call the results into question, okay? So that's the idea. Hopefully it's clear. It's a really good expression, I think. It's kind of tough to understand initially, but after we explore a few examples, I hope it is more clear. If you guys have any other questions or things that you'd like to know about, idioms you'd like to know about like this, let me know in the comments. Also, if you haven't already, make sure you hit like or subscribe, and also hit like or subscribe. No, hit like or the thumbs up and subscribe or follow, and then check out my courses in the links in the description.